This is going to be the first one. Now, I've looked at YouTube for more hours than my wife would care to admit. And I've seen so many great modelers, and I'm not going to say a name, because if I say one, I should have said them all, and I don't have time to say it. I don't remember them, but you all know who you are, and I appreciate the work you're doing, and that I'm going to start doing it because I feel like I'm taking a lot of pennies out of the penny, give a penny, take a penny thing at the counter, and I'm not putting any back in. So this is my putting pennies back in. If you don't know what I'm talking about, neither do I, so don't worry about it. So I am an American, and I have a fascination for German tanks. Who doesn't? But I think the American tanks interest me just for selfish reasons. I'm going to say it that way, because you know, with the help of the Allies, obviously, we overcame our weaknesses with the quantity over quality. And, you know, if you climbed into some of these things knowing that you were going to run up against, you know, a much superior tank, that's what I'd call courage. And so, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I have had a good impression of Tamiya, so I went with Tamiya, and this was fairly cheap. I'm going to say about $22, maybe 25-ish with shipping. I've seen it a lot cheaper. I did not shop extensively. I wanted to use an online retailer that I use, and so I went with it. So it's the M5A1. I may do the M3. That's going to be down the road. I did start quite a bit of this, and I did that because I was anxious to get into modeling, and I was on the fence when I first started as to whether or not I would make these videos, and so I didn't video any of it. I'm pretty deep into it, but there's still quite a bit to go. So it is what it is. So this is the Pursuit, I believe is called. Pursuit Operation set with 4 figures. And we'll just, you know, look at the box briefly, but this is kind of what I'm going to go for. This a setup similar to that. It does have these tools. And I wanted to look at the date on this because it's definitely an older kit. I'm going to have to tell you that. At least some of the sprues are. Well, it's got a 2010 date, but there's no way some of this is from 2010. I don't know what's from 2010. Maybe just the box art for all I know. I'm sure some of you probably do know all this stuff. So, let's see. I apologize for that. I think this is the kit number here. 35313. If you were going to try to get this kit, I think that's what you're going to go for. But the only paint that it calls out, and I have no paint, so it doesn't really help me much, but is the TS5 olive drab, and that's probably the only paint that I'm going to use. I'll use some washes. Well, I'll definitely use other paints, but I'm not gonna. What I'm saying is I'm not gonna camouflage this or anything like that. I'm going to weather it. I'm going to do some tonal stuff, and obviously olive drab is not what I'm going to paint. The machine gun and the brass, you know, there's definitely going to be some areas. I'm going to get a silver actually for the lights, and then I have some, let's second. You've probably seen this clear part cement, and you can actually apparently make windows with that. I can swear to this. I've never done it, but I'm gonna try it. So I'm gonna hit some silver in there, and then I'm gonna put this in there to simulate a lens. And so I'll see how that works, and you'll see with me, obviously, as we go on. So that's that. For glues, I've used this Model Master, and then I also have extra thin, which I love this stuff, but this is dangerous. This stuff, you got to know what you're doing. If I were buying for a teenager, certainly, you know, the kid my age when I had my fiascos with the cars, I would not get him this. I would, him or her, I would get him this, or maybe even this is pretty good, maybe even a thicker one than this, but certainly not the thin, because it just, you have to know what you're doing, or else you can have some issues. So that's the box. I'm not going to do a review. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy the reviews. I just, there's a number of reasons why I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go over some of this stuff though. So here's your, this obviously has almost all the work done. I've put a lot into this. It doesn't come this way. These fenders are separate. This plate here is separate. This is separate. You know, many of these, obviously machine guns, the license plate, the brackets that are covering the lights, and then these grab irons, I don't know what they're called, but handholds, whatever. Those are all separate. And if you look closely, you'll see that I managed to lose some of them. There being ones missing. These are very little, and need to modify my work setup, because the way I'm very close to the edge when I work, and there's a lot of places. There's no carpet, but there are a lot of places for a part like that to get eaten. So I'm missing some. Here's another one that's missing here, and then, but I did pretty good. The instructions probably could be done better, but you know, whatever. I haven't put the tools on. This is mainly, these bumps here are going to be where the tools are mounted, and I don't even know if I've cut them off the sprue. I think I have, but so that's what that is. And then I did mount the lights, and then on the lights, I don't know if I'm going to do much with those. I'm probably going to try to get a little bit of red in there, but I haven't decided on that yet. I'm not firmed up there, but I would say that it's kind of nice. I'm not worried about ejector pin marks, and there are, you know, obviously quite a few of them throughout the tank. But I'm not worried about them, because this is not going to be, you're not going to be able to see this. This is all going to be sealed up. I'm probably going to have the commander's hatch, driver's hatch is this one, I think, radio. Anyway, these hatches are closed. You have the option of leaving them open. I chose closed, for just whatever. But I probably will have one of the turn hatches open. You can see I need to do some work here on these parts. But, oh, so it's pretty cool though. I mean, as far as seeing some texture and detail. Here's a prime example of why the glue is a problem for an idiot like me. But I'll have to polish that, sand that down. That shouldn't be too big a deal. So there's the upper hull. And then pull out my magic bag. This is one of the most important things I want to show you. And that's the lower hull. This is the guy that booby traps me. This is my nightmare. And I'm sure you can still see, especially if I hit the light just right. I can't really tell on that camera's thing, but there's a hole here, here, there were holes here and here, and there was a slide switch opening there. There's even a hole back here. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that. I have no idea why they put a hole there. I called Tamiya about this because I had never seen this hull, and certainly in the directions there's nothing about these frickin' holes, and I'm really not happy with this. Also, if you look closely, you can see batteries, the directional markings for batteries in there. I'm sure you can see it. It's pretty obvious. So I called Tamiya thinking, what? Did somebody swap out a hull on me and you know, is trying to get away with some shenanigans? And no, they're not. This is Tamiya's idea of a hull. And which it just, the guy, basically I talked to the quality control guy. I need to work on these some more, but and he said, yeah, that's a hull from the 60s, I believe he said, when we had a battery option and whatever. And well, this is in the 60s, and if you're going to have a battery option, you should put that on your product description. So I'm not letting that go. That's pissed me off. You know, you people can forgive it if you want. That's your prerogative. I'm a consumer. It's my prerogative to think that's bullshit. Because it is. So what he said was, and obviously I thought about this, I don't need his input. Put some styrene in and fill it with Tamiya putty. And that's exactly what I did. Their own putty, which I had anyway, but still. And I had some styrene. I could have just used one piece of flat styrene, but I had more of this type that I wanted to use up before I started ruining sheets of styrene. And so I went this route to plug the holes and some putty. And this is the second application of putty, and you can still see the indents. So going back, I'd probably do this a little differently, especially in the larger openings. I would probably try to get a piece of styrene to actually go in there and glue it in and then putty in. But at any rate, it is what it is. I probably am going to try to get it a little better than it is now, but I'm not going to drive myself nuts with it. It is what it is. This is my first